Give Frank another round of applause. He has studied defending the veterans of this nation, and I appreciate his efforts. He got it right in the introduction. My wife is both beloved and lovely. I don't deserve as much in life. One of the greatest things I did was marry way above my head. She's located right here in the front row, and just help me welcome Cynthia this morning. My grandfather served in World War I. He was in the Argonne Forest and was gassed. He made it home, lived a life with limited ability to breathe. My father served in World War II. I did not consider our family to be a military family. I was not headed toward the military. I remember in those years of 64 and 65 as I graduated from Hobbs High School, 1965, went off to college, that the Vietnam conflict was some faraway thing, something that we only discussed once in a while in government class. I graduated from high school, went to New Mexico State, and started immediately. The beginning of my junior year, I got a call from the local draft board and said, "You've won the lottery." It's the only lottery it looks like I'm going to win, too, by the way. I was number 23. They said, "We got to you so soon last year, son. Why don't you go ahead and come back to Hobbs? We'll send you to El Paso tomorrow. We'll put you in." I said, "Can I get into the ROTC?" She said, "I'll give you 24 hours to do that." I went down to ROTC, and I was frightened all my life of flying. Older brother wanted to fly. I hated the concept. Of war, too. Went down to visit with the ROTC, and they said, "Yes, son, we'll take you. We need lots of pilots." I said, "Why do you need lots of pilots?" And I said, "We're killing a lot in Vietnam." I did not sign up that day. Went back to my room and hoped that the draft board chairman from Hobbs, Dr. Badger, would forget. 24 hours on the dot, she called me the next day back. She said, "Son, did you get in that ROTC program?" I said, "No, ma'am, you don't understand. They're killing lots of pilots." She said, "That's okay, son. We're going to have you down at El Paso this afternoon. Now you drive down there. I want you there in an hour and a half." I said, "Would you give me 12 more hours? I think I can get in that ROTC class." I went back down and signed up. Then I had to confront the dual fears of combat and flying. I will tell you that the confrontation of those fears, every generation has to confront. None of us wants to be there. None of us want to go to war. Most of us are not from military families or military backgrounds. I was not a superhero. I simply was called to duty, and I did my duty. The names on the wall, most of them are the very same way. Kids, 18, 19, 20. Erwin Pearce was a kid that I grew up with. I didn't know as he was growing up. Worked with his father. Erwin and I were sort of goof offs together, and he didn't work even hard enough to work for his own dad, and so I worked for his father before Erwin went to Vietnam. Went to see him when Erwin didn't come home. It touched my life significantly. Howard Rice was a young black kid from Hobbs, one of the fastest kids, I think the 440, maybe the 440 relay. Stanley Pearson was a year older. He went in as a commissioned officer and did not come home. Was good friends with his father till his father passed away. Every single one of us understands exactly what it takes for a nation to maintain its freedom. When they dedicated the Vietnam Wall, I was not overly impressed. I had seen it from a distance, and I did not like the design as they wrote it up in the newspaper and they took the pictures of the design. The first time I visited Washington, it was as difficult as it is today. The most tremendous losses occurred in 66, 67, and 68. Those kids who graduated in 65 were with me in 65 from around the country were there in 66, 67, and 68. The wall is stunning in its simplicity to bring each one of us to a remembrance of the losses that these families have suffered. As I look at it, I think about future generations and wonder if we'll have the dedication to maintain our freedom, if we'll have the dedication to send ourselves and our young people into combat. As I look at the young people around me, young ones on up into the high school years. I see that dedication. I see that commitment. I see that love of liberty and the love of freedom. I see the heart of the American people that is just as resilient today as it has ever been. And I know that will be sufficient. All around us we have people who served in World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the First Gulf War, and even the conflicts in between. The conflicts are going to be with us. It's human nature. It's our responsibility to have the courage and the commitment to stand up for truth and to stand up for honor and duty and for country. And it's that thing which sets us apart from all other nations. It's extremely important that we come here today, this time to honor the Vietnam veterans. But it's important for us to remember the service of the people who are in the military today. When I campaigned, one of the injustices that was brought to my attention, and I had never known it before campaigning, was that of disability receipts, or called concurrent receipts. If you served in the U.S. military and were disabled, you could not concurrently at the same time receive disability and retirement. Now, if you were a typist in Washington and disabled on the job, you could get your disability pay and your retirement pay concurrently, but only in the military. And that was passed really after the Civil War, because the nation after the Civil War did not have the funds to take care of that. I made a commitment not to cure all the problems with disability or with all the veteran funding, but I made a commitment that we would address that one. In my first year in Congress, many votes that party asked me for my vote. At some point, about halfway through the year, about 15 of us each who had made the same commitment. As Mr. Germain walked into an office off the side of the road, he said, "Sir, we've been there when you need us. We made a commitment to the veterans, and we'd like to take care of this 117-year-old problem." That day, things started moving, and before about 2 months, we passed, for the first time in 117 years, the ability for veterans to receive concurrently their disability pay and the retirement pay. It's one of the things that I'm proud of. We did not go all the way. The expense is extremely high. It was about $20 billion just for that piece. We're only taking the people who had 50% disability or more. But I felt like we should do that for those who had the most significant disabilities that we could. We'll continue to work for veterans, but I will tell you, all the funding in the world does not mean as much as you all coming out today and saying thank you to those who sacrificed and those who served. My purpose here today is to tell every single family, thank you from a grateful nation. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. God bless you.